Hello and welcome to the Astrology Forecast. My name is Sage, here as your eye into the sky, letting you know what the cosmic events are for the week, why they matter, and how you can use this information in your everyday life. I hope that everybody is finding a way to relax and reset ourselves as we just started Aries season. We are 1 week down into Aries season. And let's be honest, it is not your typical Aries season. We are in the midst of some really cosmic craziness going on. We have, of course, eclipse season approaching very quickly. In fact, you might already be listening during the eclipse portal. So just know that this entire forecast will really be focused on that eclipse. We also have an impending Mercury retrograde coming up soon in about a week, starting out on the 1st of April. So lots going on. We just had Mars enter into Pisces on Friday. If you want more information on that, go back and listen to last week's forecast. But really, it is a lot. If you are seeking more guidance, if you would like more understanding about how all of this information in the cosmos is affecting you personally, I am now offering monthly forecast readings. If you would like more insight into what you can expect for the month of April, I did just open up bookings for April. Those are only like $50 readings. So if you're interested in just getting a bit of a cosmic little snippet of what you can expect for only 1 month, definitely hit the link below and schedule one of those. Aries, I love you all. Happy birthday, solar return season. If you are an Aries or you know and love an Aries and you want to either gift yourself or this loved one in your life a really memorable gift. Solar return readings, 50% off. That is only in effect for 1 month, as well as 30% off of birth chart readings if you are an Aries and you've never, ever had your birth chart read. This is the time to do it. It is your season. You're experiencing a solar return, and the birth chart is the foundation of all of our astrological understanding about ourselves. So hit the link below if you are interested in booking one of those. Like I said, this is a very heavy week. This is a lot of cosmic energy. It's only one major cosmic event, but I do recommend that you check out in your birth chart where you have Libra. Libra is going to be number 1 this week, but also check out where you've got Aries, as both of those signs are getting majorly impacted by the eclipse and by the retrograde. I actually did do a bit of a little sneak peek as to what I'll be sharing on this week's forecast. If you do follow me on Instagram, if not, I'll put my Instagram right here. Definitely go ahead and follow me on Instagram, because I just reposted a Instagram live that I did with Sam and Alexis, my 2 co-hosts for this summer stargazing retreat in Utah. Yes, we went in depth on the retreat itself, all about why we chose the dates, what the workshops, the astrology workshops will be containing, and of course everything else. I know a lot of you guys had some questions. I also did do a brief cosmic climate update on that Instagram live. So if you're interested in joining us this summer, and or if you're just interested in hearing a little bit more about what was shared on that live, make sure you go to my Instagram and check out the replay. Again, if you're interested in joining us this summer, the dates are July 31st through August 5th. We will be actually seeing all of the cosmos in their full glory, as well as learning about them in a multi-day workshop led by myself. So really excited about that. Other announcements, last but not least, I already did mention solar return readings, birth chart readings. That's all amazing. If you're interested in getting a reading, definitely hit the link below. And as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the support. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe button. As you probably know at this point, I do post weekly forecasts giving you cosmic insight. So if you haven't already, tap the notification bell. That way you can stay up to date every single time that a new forecast is posted. And of course, make sure that you are showing love, liking the video, commenting, or just simply maybe sharing this link out to some loved ones that you think would also benefit from this knowledge. So without further ado, let's dive into the powerful week we have ahead of us. All right, so diving right into it, starting on Monday, March 25th, we have one of the most pivotal moments of 2024. We have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard about this eclipse approaching. Maybe you're listening to this a few days after Monday the 25th, in which case this energy is still very relevant. This is actually a 2-week span of time that we're really feeling the effects of this full moon. So let's take it back for a second. I want to explain the astronomy behind this full moon and behind this eclipse. So that way, when we discuss it, we understand what we're sharing about. And then I'll dive into the astrology and what this all really means. So this is a lunar eclipse. Okay, lunar eclipses is when the Earth is in between the sun and the moon. All right, so we've got the sun and the moon, right? This is a full moon. So understand that the sun is in Aries while the moon is in Libra. So they're in opposite signs of the zodiac. When we have an eclipse, Earth comes smack dab in between those two planetary bodies, which actually casts a bit of a shadow onto the moon. As we know, the moon does not emit its own light, it simply reflects the light of the sun. But when we have the Earth directly in between these two cosmic bodies, suddenly the light from the sun cannot make its way to the moon. So that is what an eclipse really represents in astronomy. Now, an eclipse also deals with the nodes. So a lot of you have heard about the North Node and the South Node, and maybe it's gone over your head, and I totally understand that. So just to make this very, very simple for us to understand, this eclipse is basically when the moon intersects the sun's apparent path through our sky. So that's what's called the ecliptic. The moon intersects the ecliptic at the points of the nodes. This can really only happen during either new moons or full moons. So this really happens only twice a year. Well, 4 times if you consider that they happen in pairs. Right, so we've got two, both a lunar and a solar eclipse happening right now. So 2 eclipses right now, and then we'll have 2 eclipses later into this year. So these are pivotal moments in astrology, right? Because eclipses are like supercharged full moons and or new moons. In the case of Monday the 25th, we're discussing a full moon. Now, all of the ramifications of a full moon still ring true for this full moon, right? We're still experiencing heightened emotions. We're still reaching that culminating point in our lunar cycle, right? This is all true. However, eclipses are really a moment in time that the full moon basically unlocks and activates a 2-week quote unquote portal. Now, a lot of people hear the word portal and you're thinking this is some woo-woo stuff that has no basis in, in the world, and we can't believe this. I understand what you're talking about there. But think about this like a window of time when the veil between our physical world and our spiritual world, right? Because we all can understand and probably, I assume, believe that there is something else going on out there besides what we can see with our 5 senses and experience. And so when we have eclipses, this is a 2-week time period when basically that veil is thinned and we get a lot more cosmic influence into our life. So these are periods of reset, these are periods of release, as well as renewal. And so a lot can transpire during eclipse seasons. We say season because unlike your traditional full moon, which really we only feel the effects of that for maybe 3 to 5 days max, during an eclipse, we're feeling this energy for up to 2-3 weeks. And this is not even including that we also have a subsequent eclipse happening in a few weeks on April 8th. Now, you might have already been feeling the effects of the March 25th eclipse going back to last week. I know a lot of people were reaching out to me and saying, I'm already feeling it. I can vouch for that. I was feeling it. So let's talk about some characteristics of eclipses. What do eclipses, not even looking at Libra right now, we're just looking at eclipses in their totality. What does an eclipse mean in terms of astrology, and how does it show up in our life? So eclipses, again, are moments where we get this activated portal where all of a sudden the universe, God, source, higher power, whatever you believe in, it's essentially stepping into the driver's seat. See, we're always in the driver's seat, right? We're used to driving in the driver's seat of our own life. We are the main character. We are in control. During eclipse season, we kind of get scooched over to passenger princess. So this is all of a sudden when the universe says, it's my turn, right? I'm now in control of what is going to transpire. You may not be aware of it. It might not make sense to you. And that is okay, right? So during eclipses, we can often see major life beginnings and major life endings. That's why this is a period of release and renewal, because it can really encompass both. So we oftentimes see maybe some unexpected things happening. Things can feel chaotic. Our energy levels might go up and down during eclipses because there's so much cosmic energy affecting us, right? So I would actually pay attention. I've already started to witness this. I've even seen it in my own life. That there's been a lot of updates and maybe surprising announcements that are coming out around this time period. Pay attention to your social media feeds. You might notice a lot more birth announcements, marriage announcements, engagements. I actually got engaged during an eclipse myself. Also, births, of babies as well as deaths. So again, this is how the eclipse can really be multifaceted. It's a spectrum, right? Events are what they are. We give them meaning, and so eclipses bring major life events. This can be great events like the birth of a child, or this can be more sad events like the death of a loved one. And so, eclipses, not to freak anybody out, I'm not saying that your loved ones are going to pass away unexpectedly, but I am saying to expect the unexpected in the sense that anything can happen because, again, this is the moment where fate takes over. See, we're working with the North Node and the South Node, which in astrology represent points of fate and karma. The South Node being that which we need to release, that which we came from, that is karmic in nature, that needs to be set aside in order for us to reach our fullest potential with the North Node, which is again that point of fate and destiny. And so, really understand that eclipses are essentially the moment when the nodes are shining at their brightest, they're functioning in their full capacity, and therefore we're able to experience the effect of fate, of destiny, and of karma in its totality. And so a lot can transpire during eclipses. Now, in dealing with such a potent astrological event such as an eclipse, we do want to note the medicine that we can call upon, that we can lean into during this otherwise crazy time. And so karma definitely, shows up center stage during an eclipse. And in the sense that we have to either evolve or repeat, right? These are the soul's lessons that need to be learned. Again, we're going even deeper on meaning here, but really that's why eclipses are so pivotal, is because it really is that moment for our soul to make leaps and bounds in terms of that which it needs to learn and understand and maybe even let go of and or pursue further. And so this is not the opportunity. This is not the time to be putting in actual work, actual manifestation practice and effort and energy. Now, a lot of us, we utilize full moons as that opportunity to do the manifestation work, right? Charge the crystals, make the moon water, take the bath. I understand. But spoken as an astrologer, and this is something I've been sharing with a lot of you. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been talking about this a lot. Please pause your manifestation practice until after April 8th. All right. I am going to dive into 3 ways to work with the eclipse, but I want to make special emphasis of that one point because so many of us are still in the driver's seat during the eclipse. And that's really how we get into an accident. That's how we crash because this is not our moment to shine, right? We are not here to be actively working with this cosmic energy. This is the moment to take a step back, kind of almost like a retrograde, which we also have in correlation with this eclipse, but really take a step back and be the witness of life's unfoldings. Become the person observing that which unfolds. The situations and circumstances that come into our life during eclipses can feel a little shocking, can be kind of like those WTF moments where you're like, I wasn't ready for that. I don't know why this happened. That is okay. Learn to surrender into the chaos. Okay, I'm going to dive into why this is true and what will come out of that as I dive into the 3 ways to work with this energy. But please know the medicine with this is to truly rest, take a step back, and just simply surrender to life's ups and downs. Our energy levels are up and down. Our life might feel a little up and down, and that is okay, right? Submit to the roller coaster that we're on currently. It's not forever, it's just for now. Now, let's look at how this energy is showing up in the context of the Libra zodiac. Now, again, if you're listening and you have prominent Libra placements or prominent Aries placements or Capricorn or Cancer, okay? Now, I'm going to just say that right now. Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, you four signs are for sure receiving the most intense cosmic energy from this eclipse cycle. However, I don't want to dissuade anybody from receiving all of the information here because really everybody feels eclipses. I have felt them throughout my whole life. If I look back and I witness how certain events aligned with eclipses, I didn't know astrology. Those signs might not have been prominent in my chart, but the real life circumstances did play out. Now, looking back, it gives you more clarity and insight as to why, which is what astrology is, right? We look at astronomy to understand the what, hence why I explained what an eclipse is. But then we look to astrology to understand the why and the how that this will actually show up in our human life. Now, in Libra, we're dealing with an air sign. This is a social sign that's focused on relationships. That's really the key here. That when we're dealing with Libra, we're focusing on the other people in our life. Now, this is very opposite to Aries. The sun is in Aries, while the moon will be in Libra on the 25th. Now, this is a polar opposite dynamic between the sun and the moon. While the sun is in the sign of the self, the moon is in the sign of the other. And this eclipse is bringing these two energies together and asking us to really analyze, how do I show up in my relationships, not only with the other people in my life, but also with myself, right? And so we might see a lot of Libra themes showing up for us in this time, whether this be prior to the eclipse. Maybe you're thinking back to the previous week, last week. Maybe you started to see some themes already approaching, or maybe you're living it now and maybe it is soon to come, that we might see themes of balance, of harmony, of looking to how we can basically balance out the energy of war and peace. Because again, Libra is the sign of peace, right? Libra is like, if it's not peaceful, it's not for me. And that might ring very true for us during this time. However, the sun is still in Aries, reminding us that we need to remain true to ourselves, regardless of any exterior influences. And so this is really when we have to look at where both Libra and Aries are showing up in your birth chart. Please, if you didn't already do it at the very beginning of this forecast, pause this video, go look at your birth chart and check out where you have Libra and Aries in your chart. This will give you a much deeper insight into where this energy is showing up in your life. However, understanding the themes alone can be extremely beneficial. So again, Libra themes such as peace and harmony and relationships, all of these themes are coming into being during this time. You might notice yourself having to think deeper about your relationship patterns, about how balance is shown in relationships or not shown. Maybe there's an imbalance. We're looking at that, we're working it out, and we're seeing how we can better lean into maybe a slightly more challenging energy in these areas of our life and becoming the witness to what situations unfold that allow this energy to play itself out and hopefully find some sort of culminating point. So to wrap this up, let's discuss 3 ways that you can work with the energy of this eclipse during this 2-week portal of time. Now, the first thing I really recommend is to lean into the relationship with yourself. A lot of discussions you'll hear about this eclipse are talking about the relationships that you have with other people. Again, this is in the sign of Libra, which is the sign of union, of people coming together to form a partnership. Now, not only that, but we're dealing with the South Node in Libra. Now, understand that the South Node is all about the things we need to release. The South Node is a point of karma in our chart. It is a point of release. Now, full moons are also points of release, right? That's what full moons are all about. It's that culminating peak energy that says, okay, we've reached the top. Now, what do we need to get rid of in order to move on to this next path? And so during this time, look at the relationship with yourself and notice where you show yourself love. What kind of talk do you tell yourself, right? What kind of words do you speak over yourself? This is all very important, as again, Libra is an air sign dealing with our thoughts, our words, and our relationships. But number one, it's imperative to look at the relationship with yourself. It's not going to be surprising if certain situations unfold that ask you to look at your own habits when it comes to how you fill your cup, when it comes to how you even operate in relationships. Again, Libra qualities that might be showing up in our life, such as people pleasing or indecisiveness, that can become way more evident during this time And as a result, situations will happen that force us to basically look at that part of ourselves and maybe rearrange it. Again, we also have a retrograde happening during this time when our thoughts are becoming way more reflective. So utilize this eclipse and retrograde energy to really look at the relationship with yourself and make those necessary changes if need be. Number two is to surrender to changes in relationship patterns. Yes, this might imply the one with yourself, but let's not forego the relationships with other people, as those relationships may be taking center stage during this time. And so, really be aware that things might evolve and certain relationships may go by the wayside, right? This Libra eclipse is all about cutting that relationship cord. It might feel painful. It might feel like a breakup, right? This can be an actual breakup, romantic one, or even a friend breakup. But in some way, shape, or form, this eclipse very well might bring about separations in friendship as well as new beginnings in friendship, right? So there's always a positive to the negative. Now, that negative may not be so negative because let's be honest, this eclipse is going to show us what's meant for us and what's not. So if it's meant for us, let it happen, let it come in. And if it's not meant for us, let it go. Surrender. It's okay. There's better things on the horizon, right? Trust in the universe, in God, in the higher power that you believe in to to basically be the one in charge in this situation and know that it is in our best interest. That relationship might have been imbalanced in some way, and so the universe stepped in and said, we're taking it out of your life. Right? There might have been some toxic patterns in that relationship or in that partnership. This is the moment in 2024 when we cut off those people and those things and those habits and patterns in our life and in our partnerships that are not serving our higher good, right? We're reaching towards that north node of destiny, of fate. And certain people are not going to make it to that point, right? Certain people did not do the work to be in your life in that sense. And that's okay. Let them go, right? So surrendering to whatever relationship ups and downs might occur during this time is extremely recommended, as again, it can feel a bit tumultuous. So be aware, be prepared, and know that in the long run, that actually might be a really good thing. And number three, this is kind of a twofold one, is to expect the unexpected, but also have patience, right? So eclipses do bring about in situations that you were not ready for. Okay. So whatever's happening in your life right now, if it feels confusing, if it feels chaotic, if you're feeling exhausted and like nothing is making sense, take a deep breath and give yourself some grace, right? Have a little bit of patience for the situation to work itself out. Oftentimes during eclipses, there's things that don't make sense because, in a larger sense, there's things that could be very well hidden to us. If we look at an eclipse, there is something being hidden from our line of sight, whether that be the moon's light, whether that be the sun during a solar eclipse, something is being hidden from our viewpoint. Take that into astrology, take that into the actual meaning behind this astronomical event. We're really looking at a situation that can feel crazy and chaotic, but also there might be things hidden that we cannot see right now. So have patience that situations will work themselves out, but they might take time. I would give it until after the portal closes on April 8th and maybe even a week after just to let the energy subside a bit. So, really, mid April, that can be when whatever's going on right now starts to make more sense. And so, if it doesn't make sense right now, if you are expecting the unexpected and the unexpected happens and you're over here saying, WTF, I don't know what to do, take a breath, pause, and have patience. That's my biggest piece of advice, along with surrendering and not manifesting during this time and just allowing yourself to release the reins, right? Take a step back from the action and intention you're putting into all these things in your life and just allow God, universe, whatever you believe in. You guys are going to hear me say that a lot, but it's true. I don't care what you believe in. Again, astrology is happening, whether or not you're aware of it. But allow this to happen and unfold and know that there is greater truth that we might not see right now. And that is okay, right? So have patience that the truth will be revealed to you. May not be right now. Things might feel hectic in the meantime, but have faith and trust in the outcome unfolding, especially unfolding in a good way, right? We're going to manifest that in a sense because we want to believe in the good possibilities unfolding. but understand that anything can happen and that ultimately it will be okay, right? It'll be okay. We just have to have some faith. And I do just want to make a special note that we are in the midst of the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. So understand that Mercury retrograde starts on April 1st. So stay tuned for next week. I will be doing a deep dive on how this retrograde is impacting our eclipse. But I do just want to point out that right now, this particular week, we are experiencing a pre-shadow to the retrograde, which just simply means that the retrograde is starting to heat up. And so, biggest piece of advice I can give is number one, if you can prepare, do what you got to do as far as backing up your technology. I said this last week, but file your taxes if you haven't already. Do not wait till the deadline this year because that will be in the midst of the retrograde. Nobody wants to be submitting paperwork dealing with government and finances and all that stuff that's very matrixy. We want to get that handled ahead of time. So that's the one thing. Make sure your car is good. I hear a lot of car issues happen during retrogrades. Get the oil change, get your brakes checked, get that, rotation or alignment, whatever it needs to get done. Basically, what I'm saying is use this week to do it. Double check your travel plans if you happen to be going away during the time that Mercury is retrograde, which, by the way, April 1st through the 25th, just letting you know. So do what you got to do to, again, double check your travel plans. Make sure you reconfirm any meetings or appointments you have. And go with the flow. Know that things can happen and maybe get mixed up, and that's okay, right? Understand that things can get canceled. We literally just yesterday, Shane and I were on our way to a friend's house and turned around halfway there because of an unexpected situation that happened. First thing I said to him when I looked over at him was like, okay, well, this is the eclipse and retrograde starting already. So know that things might happen, but the fact that you listen to this forecast, the fact that you know about this information ahead of time, you are equipping yourself to be able to better handle whatever comes your way. So kudos to you for taking the time and energy to actually listen to this information and hopefully get something out of it. And so with that, I'm going to close it off here. I know this energy this week is heavy. My DMs are open. If you or even a loved one that you know might be struggling and could use some cosmic guidance, hit up my DMs. I'm here for you if you would like an April personal forecast reading, which will include, by the way, all about the eclipse and all about the retrograde. I will include that in your forecast. We will look at where this is showing up in your chart specifically and how you can better work with this. The link is below if you would like to schedule that. Again, all my Aries, happy solar return. It's your season. I know it's a bit of a wonky season for you. Actually, a lot of Aries sun signs are having your solar return during the eclipse cycle, which is major, by the way. If you're an Aries and you're listening to this, your birthday is more than likely going to be setting yourself up for a very pivotal year ahead. If you want more guidance and clarity and understanding about what that'll look like, solar return readings are 50% off and birth chart readings are only 30% off. So again, if you're interested in getting more personalized cosmic insight, the link is below. And as always, I wish you all a beautiful, magical, and hopefully calm eclipse week. Make sure you stay tuned for next week as we will continue in this eclipse series. We will be discussing more in depth about the upcoming solar eclipse as well as the impending Mercury retrograde that will be kicking off the month of April. So I send you all so much love. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you all again next Sunday.